Hello, everybody. Welcome to Telli Talks, where we talk about life, growth, relationships, and everything in between. I have my co-host, OGZ2 Funny, in the building. And I have a very special guest. He is a creative entrepreneur and behind the brand Popular Demand, Blake Ricciardi.
What's up? It's good to be here.
Thanks for coming. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem at all.
So for the people that don't know who you are or haven't heard about your brand, which is nuts because it's everywhere. Please let us know about your journey.
You know, my brand's been around for close to a decade now. So just the brand itself has been on a journey.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I think that is something that when I started it, I was pretty broke. And I was broke trying to stay here in LA. And to think that it's like 10 years ago is weird, but also like an accomplishment. The fact that you can like walk into a mall or hop on Zumi's website and buy my product and things that have like come from my head. So it's a little surreal. But so I've been around doing that brand for over a decade, but been selling product, been in streetwear for about 15 years now. And
Jesus. Then and you started with Karmaloop.
I started with Karmaloop in fashion. Yeah, I started in Karmaloop, except when I was like 19, 20, I like tried to do a brand thing. If you were to look at it now, it's like nothing. Like wasn't even, no products came out, no anything. But I did try to figure out how to make some t-shirts or something, but I failed at that. I was back in Boston. But I actually started a television show with my brother in Boston. It was on the WB, that channel that used to be around. There was UPN and WB back in the day. And we were on the WB Boston, and we started a music television show. And this was literally right before YouTube. So Boston doesn't have a lot of celebrities and music artists coming through. So I realized as music artists would come through, which sounds super odd right now, like they, especially as I'm on a podcast, they wouldn't have like anywhere to go to do radio other than like a radio station or to go to do video, TV. Like
it's not the same 10 years ago.
Yeah, the news isn't gonna interview like Pharrell or whatever. It just wasn't like that. Yeah. So we were able to, just me and my brother, with basically no budget at all, we were able to make it look really good, do a television show in Boston and interview No Doubt and Pharrell and
big names.
Shit, we interviewed Slipknot, like on a bus with Slipknot, which was fucking crazy. So like and Blink-182, all these people, right? So that led me to an opportunity at Karmaloop, which I just like taking things on, even if I don't know that much about them. I figure I'll work on it and figure it out. So in Karmaloop, like I've always understood marketing things and products and positioning and all that stuff and how to make things look good, but I hadn't worked directly in the streetwear space. And I was really fortunate that really the number one place to buy the types of clothes that basically everybody wears right now was coming out of Boston. So I worked for that company. I started a couple divisions, and because of my background with having my own television show, I started a division called Karmaloop TV. So that again was right before YouTube. So because of that, we were interviewing like Crooks and Castles or Trouble Andrew, and like trying to bridge like what you see on Hypebeast or Complex today. We were trying to do that on Karmaloop just a little early. So
that was over 10 years ago.
Yeah, it was like 12 years ago. So when I left there is when I came out here and failed for a little bit, fell on my face for a little bit, and then figured out some things, and trial by fire, I think it is. Yeah.
Amen. And you're successful, and it worked out. And I feel like people don't understand that you have to fall before you crawl, before you walk, before you run. And that's the process of everything that you do, whether it's relationships, whether it's business, whether it's a sport. Like, you're not going to be Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, whoever athlete overnight. It just doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, it takes practice, it takes, failures. You're not you're not going to be on the varsity team your first time playing basketball or football or whatever the case is. So that's what more so I want to talk about, like the journey of becoming a successful brand. Because a lot of people, I feel like, try to start brands and they don't know how to go about it, where to start, how to market it. Like, can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, and you know what's so interesting? I've had the good fortune of, both through my brand and some of those previous experiences, spending time with, you know, whether it's a celebrity or a music artist or an athlete or whoever it may be that's really at the top of their game from, you know, pursuing their passion. And first of all, the number one through line is always work ethic. Like, it's not even like people, it's like hella boring for a podcast to talk about like rolling up your sleeves and like working hard. But like at the end of the day, that's the first separator people know. Like that matters, right? Is like whether you have, if you have the two people that are exact same level of talent, somebody's willingness to just work harder is going to bring them at a different level. But after that, you know, I'm actually in a, you know, I'm in a place right now where I'm enamored by how many people want to work for themselves and have their own brands or businesses or whatever it may be.
Definitely a thing.
Everybody.
It's definitely a thing.
I'm also disappointed at times in the fact that people don't recognize the massive level of tools that are out there, like free content that's out there.
Yeah.
And they feel like getting to somebody like me, right? Like, oh, if I just get some advice from you, my brand's gonna take off. And then I'll get on the phone with somebody like, yo, so how much have you researched this or looked into that? Oh, nah, man, like I'm just doing, like, all right, well, this is just how it goes.
Absolutely.
Like, you gotta, like, I understand, like, I didn't ever have a desire to be an attorney or a doctor, but I respect the fact that they've got to go for school that amount of time to be able to develop the skills and talent and have the know-how to be able to do that. Well, there's no difference for what anybody else does. Like, I still need to put that time in to learn things to be able to compete at the level I'm competing at, because that's really what it comes down to. You're competing for somebody's dollars. So I think the first thing people should be doing when they're thinking about creating anything is like, you're business. There's like a really, really clear line between a business and a hobby.
Absolutely.
So like, the hobby is when you started out and you're like, yo, I got this idea. It's crazy. It's so dope. I want to do this and that.
The passion.
Cool. But is there any audience? And are you bringing something new to the table, right? So you'll oftentimes find that people don't bring anything new at all to the table, or they're developing something that has no audience. You know what I'm saying? They're like too narrow with whatever they're doing. So I think that people, number one, have to be honest with themselves when they're thinking about what they're doing. And number two is really try to create something that finds this, I like to find this like middle point where you're like, all right, my idea is dope, but at the same time, I think people are gonna fuck with it because of these real reasons, not because you asked all your friends and your friends said they were cool, because your friends are gonna tell you that because they don't want to hurt your feelings. So it's really important to be honest with yourself about what you're creating, and then to try to start with who's my audience and how do I cultivate that audience. But your audience isn't everybody.
That part.
Yeah.
So everybody thinks their audience is everybody.
And that's the problem.
Like, I make vegan food, so like all the vegans are gonna like. No, like there's a lot of vegans, and a lot of people make vegan food. So like, how are you gonna get this person to get up, get out, or go on an app, use their own money, and get something to try you out? That's like a big ask.
Yeah.
And so
that's a huge ask. Huge.
Habits don't change. You know, people like. So it's like.
And people are particular. People like certain things. Like, for example, like veganism, right? Some people don't like bad vegan food, which there is a thing as bad vegan food.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, all
so
day.
some people eat vegan to be healthy. Some people eat vegan because they don't like meat. So like you said, your target audience, you have to find your target audience in whatever it is that you do. Instead
of just like creating something like you're saying, like that's vegan, let's call it more of an unhealthy thing, and just being like, I'm gonna sell this to all the vegans. No, you gotta create like a legit audience.
Absolutely.
Like what people miss out on things like, for example, somebody like Kanye, right? With this whole thing that he did with those 3 stadium shows. Well, they weren't even shows, the listening parties. Is people all miss that he just had an audience in his hand and he just went like this.
Yeah.
But everybody can do the same thing. The difference is Kanye's audience is really, really big, and he has it in the palm of his hands. That's how he sells clothes, listen to all his music. But you can still create an audience that you have in the palm of your hand through emails and texts and Instagram and TikTok, and cultivating an audience that when you do introduce your first product or you build that audience, that they're sitting there waiting for that next thing because they believe in you and your brand, versus just trying to create something for everybody.
Absolutely.
there's a term that you go narrow to go wide, essentially. And what that means is you create the audience first, right? So a lot of people discovered Virgil from the 10, which was his sneaker collection he did with Nike at first. It was like, yo, bang, this Virgil dude, shit. Right. He went narrow. He did those sneakers, and you're like, yo, who is this dude? This shit's amazing. Obviously, I knew who he was, but like a lot of the mainstream audience.
Right. His audience.
Now picture how wide he is now. Virgil's doing shit with IKEA. Virgil's doing. If he had to get your attention first, if Virgil hit you with all this stuff at once,
you'd be like, who the fuck?
What's going on here? Like you wouldn't even be able to pay attention to it. He took 10 products that were standard, that have been done forever for Nike. He put his spin on them. You consume that. You understood what he was. You want to find out what's next from him.
Absolutely.
Yep. Very true.
And so you got to create some excitement. Like, and excitement isn't you creating something new. Nobody cares.
Absolutely.
Excitement is like fucking excitement. Like, I'm excited.
Yeah, exactly. So, speaking of brand.
Yes.
And speaking of development, I developed this fragrance.
Yes.
It's called Telli. I wanted to gift it to you.
I did see you doing the ad right before.
Okay.
And I've heard a little bit about it from you. And I'm very excited about this.
So I want to tell you a little bit about it. And then I want you to kind of give me insight of what you think as far as, I don't know if you just do like solely clothing or all brands, but you know, I feel like with brands, everything is different. Every way to go about the situation is different. So I kind of want to get insight from your mind, since you've developed a brand from scratch, from the ground up, of like what your suggestion to people like me or for someone that's creating something new, just like you said with the steps, you know, find your audience, go in a narrow path to widen your path. And with my fragrance, it's a unisex fragrance, so I wanted to make it for women and men because I feel like, you know, it started with me and my man years ago, and I wanted to create a fragrance for the both of us that we can both wear, because I was wearing a fragrance, he liked the scent, and then he started wearing it.
And then both y'all smell the same.
Then everyone, like we did a show, and then everyone on the show, the producers, the cast, they were wearing it too, and I was like, I don't want to smell like everyone else. Like I want my own scent. Like I'm not the type of person that likes people copying or doing what I personally do, because I want to be unique and different, and you know, like to grow. So I wanted to develop a fragrance, and it was prolonged, and it's finally here. Yeah. So I feel like it's a scent that I feel both sexes can wear, but I feel like it's more masculine than feminine, but more men wear it than females that I've had. Can
you explain to? I'll have like a million questions. Can you explain to me the couple nature of it though? Because you're saying the male and the female, but when we talked a little bit about it, I know there's that element of the couple element, and
absolutely,
I want to learn it. Like, is that an interesting market? You know what I mean?
So yes, the fragrance's logo, its slogan, motto is where two souls connect as one. So I made it to where I want the audience or the customer to be able to smell their other half or their spouse or their person and be able to want to wear that fragrance as well too, and connect together as one. So that was kind of like my motto behind it, because that's the backstory is me and my man, and it happened that way with us. So I kind of wanted to make that same connection with our fragrance.
So I think that, number one is I'm always listening to, I prefer things to stand out, even if they're going to continue to narrow your audience a little bit. Because at first, you've got to get a group of people feeling this is something that's exciting for them, different than what they're doing today. So like every man and woman have scents they're using today. So right now you're kind of like elbowing your way in, being like, well, try mine.
Right.
But what makes your scent unique is not only the fact that it's unisex, but it's kind of designed in a way and inspired by a relationship and designed in a way for partners. So absolutely, I'm leaning into that because you've already leaned into that with the name, with the colors being I wouldn't call the colors unisex because it's not really unisex colors, but they're just rich colors that both men and women will
And
really
I wanted
like.
to do red for passion.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like red was a
It's
passionate
like a crimson,
color.
so it's not too like
yeah,
fire.
Like
love.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
You did a great job with it, and I love the
you.
name being having multiple layers to it. In the
Yes.
sense it has a real personal one within two names combined, but at the same time you also have. Well, you told me there's a
Telli. Telli is Deontay and Telly, obviously, but Telli in French means by Telly. So it was created by me for us, and it's a double entendre, like he said. It has two meanings behind it, and I just wanted it to be like personal because, like I said, I've been working on it for years.
So like that's what I really lean into, right? You're front facing. Obviously, you have a great following. Your relationship is very front facing. So in the sense that, why not lean into that and have it just be a part of that wave, in the sense that have the fragrance really feel like to potential customers or fans or whoever it may be, like, oh, well, this would be perfect for me and my husband. And the other thing is, I always look for cheat codes, right? So women make way more of the decisions in relationships than men, especially when it comes to
happy wife, happy life.
Especially purchasing, even what a man wears can be impacted.
Absolutely.
Purchasing decisions, and
you know what I like to say about that? The man can be the head of the household, but the woman's the neck that moves that head around.
I mean, I'm single, so I'm moving my neck around. Probably poorly,
He's
though.
like, I'm moving my
to
neck
keep
around
it real,
myself.
Probably poorly, but no, I feel that. Like, in the sense that, first of all, obviously men like making their women happy. So
Absolutely.
If I'm you, I'm focused on how do I market this to women that are in the similar position to me. Maybe they're not in the exact same position. They only have a following in the podcast and everything you have going on, but they still aspire. Or they also, at the same time, just really relate to you on all different other levels. And I'm trying to introduce to them this fragrance for them and their husband or their boyfriend or whoever it may be. Not that it can't be unisex in every way, because it's still that it's basically making sure when your man goes out, for example, he smells good. Do you know what I mean? Like it's part, you're leveling him up.
And also that he remembers you when he leaves the house or wherever he goes, because both of you guys smell the same.
Yeah, there's
it's like taking a piece of you with him or her.
I distill what's special of what you've done, right? I'd like, if I'm you, I'm trying to distill what's special about it and what my cheat codes are. And for somebody like you, you have a lot of them through your exposure, through the work you've done, through your podcast, and also through like what you've put together here is literally kind of really just all part of that as well. There's a whole story to it. And I hope that potential fans and clients and customers and everybody hears that story in every which way, only because it's one of the things that makes it special, right? So if you're to go to Macy's and you're going to buy a fragrance, and let's say it is unisex or whatever it may be, it has none of the special touches that you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Nothing that makes it special. Nobody's speaking to them.
Absolutely.
Just some corporate thing that was made.
Do you feel like for a brand to create or a brand to grow, there has to be some developmental story behind it so it sells the product?
I have a theory of what's happening kind of right now with everything, which is at this point, especially since everything's happened with the world and so many people got used to things getting delivered and everything on their phone, at this point you can get anything. Anything you want,
that is true.
You can get it. Any type of look, any type of makeup. Not that people aren't creating some new cool shit every once in a while, but at the end of the day, just about any look you're going for, you don't even need to be creative or clever anymore. You don't need to know the stores to go to. You don't need to know any of that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's the separator, right? So the separator is the bespoke nature of things, the personal nature of things. What they can't do is if somebody comes to your place and you have a really nice painting up, or somebody had created a custom dress for you, they can't replicate that. That's special. Absolutely. So I think what's going to happen is you're going to have a lot more, and you're already seeing this a lot, but you're going to have a lot more of continued the Amazons and the H&Ms and all that stuff to buy whatever accessories and Fashion Novas and things that people want to buy. But I think when they want to feel like, okay, well, now's my time to add something special, they're going to find that sneaker guy that dip dyes sneakers, or they're going to find you that's created or already follow you that's created a unique unisex fragrance that is going to make sure that not only are they and their boyfriend going out and smelling great and smelling together, but at the same time, they know it's going to be unique. They're not going to be like everybody else. Absolutely. So I think that for a long time, people are going to continue to try to discover things, and you got to figure out ways to talk to them. And I think the problem a lot of brands have is they want to market their products to everybody.
Yes.
And it's like really kind of a death sentence for most brands because
not everybody.
Everybody's trying to market to everybody.
You have to
so's
find
McDonald's.
Your customer. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so's Macy's, so's H&M, so's Zoomy. So all they're trying to market to everybody because they have that level of product and that level of stuff. Uber wants you to use theirs over Lyft. Everybody. Absolutely. So how are you going to compete in that constant attention world? You have to create something that when somebody's doing this, they stop and but not only that, they gotta stop. Yes, cool, I can make anybody stop with something I post. It wouldn't be that hard. But if I can get you to stop and then intrigued, you want to learn, you want to discover it, you want to find out more about it, and you want to hit the follow, you want to sign up for the text alerts, you want to do whatever.
That excitement.
Because that person has earned that attention.
Absolutely.
People don't want to earn attention right now. They just assume you just like throw stuff out there and people are going to
fuck with it. Yeah. That's where the work comes in.
There's hella talent, there's crazy talented people out there, like crazy that just don't have the sunlight, but they don't know how to really cultivate the audience. Maybe they're making bags that are just incredible, but the audience
and that's a hard thing to do is to get an audience.
That excitement.
To get someone to bite, to get someone to follow, to get someone to stay tuned, to get someone to sign up for email alerts and, you know, text messages or whatever the case is. So it's like because you've built your brand, how have you built your brand?
And other stuff too. Like I've built other stuff for behind the scenes and like it's all the same through line. It's all about an emotional connection to something. There's nothing that anybody spends money on, very little things that they don't have an emotional connection to.
Very true.
So,
that's the kicker.
Somebody, you know, I remember trying to challenge myself. I was talking to my buddy who's got a 4-year-old girl, and I'm like, toothpaste. Watch, there's an emotional connection. You go take your girl to CVS to go buy her toothpaste. Go see how she acts, what she wants, how she's connected, and then figure out how you decide on what you buy based on that emotional connection, based on your daughter.
Yeah.
Now,
something as little as toothpaste, you're absolutely that emotional connection is true.
I use a subscription contact service, right? Mm-hmm. That is a fucking utility for me. Yeah. Like I know the price. Yeah. I like the contacts. They keep it coming.
Yeah.
I'm good. That's a utility. Everything else, most other things are all purchased with emotion. Like every food you decide to make, to eat,
everything,
what you're wearing, everything.
Is very true. I never thought about it that way, like an emotional connection to things. And now that even with the toothpaste, like the toothpaste example, that is so true.
I chew the same gum since I was in high school.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't like buying any other gum for a certain reason.
Same thing with like water, and you know, like people have a preference in water, and just it's crazy. Soap.
You'll say I like it better. Well, kind of. You emotionally are like connected to it in a way. You've tried other things. You don't want to try to change it up a little bit. You're more comfortable. Like so, everything is about that. And so what everybody does is here's why everything gets all jacked up, right? They try to create a product and they try to appeal and have that brand or product appeal to everybody.
Yeah.
How fuck you gonna appeal to everybody? Everybody's emotions, they all think of things differently. So
absolutely.
So there's probably no girl, I've probably gone out with one girl in 10 years in Hollywood that gives a fuck that I like the Marvel universe. Right? So Marvel doesn't care though.
Yeah.
Right.
They're not trying to get her.
No.
Right. Exactly.
They're not like, yo, oh my God, we can make so many more billions if I could just get
one person.
Fucking Jennifer to fucking whatever.
Like our show.
Right.
But they're like, nah, we're good. That's not gonna happen. But their audience, they're gonna just keep
jam
figuring
in that motherfucker.
out who that is, and provide them value. Right? So like, check it out. You've been watching Marvel shit for 10 years. You've been spending $100 to bring you and your homies over, or family or friends or whatever. Now all of a sudden Disney Plus comes around. You spend $6. You got all these Marvel shows.
Right.
You don't think people are like, this is so nice of Marvel. This is amazing.
Yes,
I'm getting emotional connection. It's all based on that. So you have to, then the easiest way is you created it and you're a person. So when you look at this, you know all of this was started because of an emotional reaction you had to people. You were like, everybody's doing what I did, but I knew how to do it, and I want to create something based around that. You created it initially with that emotional connection, so now you got to figure out a way that taps into everybody else,
your audience. Absolutely.
And then when they're tapped into that, you can sell them anything. Like any
fucking genius.
Absolutely.
Fucking genius way to think of it in that type of way.
That's what it's all about. I'll challenge
anybody.
How
he's made it sound to me is like a drug. Like you sell a product, like how people get addicted to drugs. You know, like this is a bad example.
Great example.
This is a bad example.
I hate to break it to you,
but it makes perfect sense.
No disrespect, Dad, but my dad's never done drugs or anything in his life. But he loves his iPhone though. That's the same.
My dad loves his golf.
His golf is his
golf's a little different than a phone. Like the phone is literally the Google, Apple. Everybody's taking this and figuring out how to get you on it more.
Yes, absolutely.
And they're messing dopamine, the hits, the whole thing. So everything is.
It's a drug that you would consume.
Everyone has a vice. Everyone has some type of addiction, whether it's shopping, whether it's alcohol, whatever it is. So you're saying like you could sell products by someone being emotionally attached, but to me it's like you're making someone addicted to your brand and your emotional attachment to whatever it is that you.
Well, yes and no. Only in the sense that there's definitely still things you like but don't love. Like you could just be like, I'm just lazy and I don't want to cook something. I'll go over to Jersey Mike's and grab something.
Right.
You're not like,
obsessed with Jersey Mike's, right?
You are connected to it that you know it's a go-to.
The want.
The sub you're gonna get is easy. You know what you're getting. So that has emotionally satisfied what your concern was. You're hungry, you're tired, you're stressed. So they fill that place for you.
Absolutely.
Everything that goes on in your life.
But it's not like a love. It's not like a love.
But you have an emotional connection to it in some sort of way. You have to.
There is levels to the emotional connection.
At the end of the day, that's all we
100%.
All we wake up and strive to just get to our emotional connection. That's all we wake up and like that's the first thing we would do. What would you do in a day? Whatever your emotional connection is, that's what you're doing today, and you're just not really thinking of that shit.
When you're dressing, you're thinking about like, what's my energy today, almost in a way. Like, what do I want to feel when I go to? What do I want people to feel about me when I walk into this place? Like, I'm gonna look a little different. I'm gonna dress a little different.
Very true.
It's all.
I'm going to target that too. So I know on your Instagram, because we follow each other, y'all, for people that don't know, but you're talking about mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's touch bases on mental health, because I feel like mental health is not what everyone talks about, and not everyone thinks mental health is cool or to talk about it is cool. But I feel like a lot of people suffer from depression, anxiety, including myself. And I feel like you speaking out about it is super essential, because it just makes it so people that are going through situations, whether it's depression, anxiety, or other forms of mental health, have some type of, source to look at or go to or ask questions about. So let's talk about how that started for you and how you're open about that.
I had a lot of struggles in the last 3 or 4 years, a lot of stuff in my life personally, as you know. So like if you're super connected to anything, a product, a brand, a project, a team, when you're an entrepreneur, it's in your blood, right? It's what you do 24/7, because if you're going to turn it off, then you probably just shouldn't be an entrepreneur, because it just doesn't really stop. Doesn't mean you have to be focused on it 24/7. It's just part of your life in that way. And you have especially when you have teams and stuff like that, to try to make sure payroll comes and whatever it may be. So
it's a
for
lot
me,
on your mind.
I had a wall. I definitely hit a wall a couple times. I've crashed. I've had some struggles, and I'm still actually working through a lot of that stuff through life coaches, through through meditation, through microdosing, through a lot of different things. But at the same time, like I'm not sure. Like you're talking about, and we had talked about this a little bit ahead of time. I posted on Instagram just kind of like my deal a little bit. Because like forever, I just wanted to look like a superhero. Like I was good, like trying to look like a rock, just be good with that, and like put myself out there. But I do believe in trying to. I mean, you got to conquer fears, and you got
Absolutely.
you know, everything you ever want is on the other side of fear, right? So like for me, understanding that, I just don't think anybody's. I'll put it this way: the public's never really seen. Not that I'm like that famous or nothing, but like the public. You know, whenever I push myself out there, they've never seen any level of like vulnerability.
Absolutely.
So it kind of gave me an opportunity, because I just don't give a fuck, to just be like, all right, well, I'll just talk about, I'm kind of fucked up sometimes.
Absolutely. And we're human at the end of the day. Like, not everyone is perfect. As much as like, you know, celebrities or people that are looked onto, influencers or whatever, people look at those people as perfect, but they're not. We're humans. We go through life. You know, we go through battles. We go through stress, especially stress. I mean, I'm sure you go through a hell of a lot of stress, because I go through stress. And I've
actually worked on ways to have less of that in my life, because. So,
okay, tell me about this less stress work you have going on here, because this is something that I need to hear about personally.
I mean, it just depends. It's all balance, because it depends what your goals are. Like, if your goals are to take over the world, then it's going to be hard to have no stress.
Right, absolutely. The world is stress.
There's a lot of competition out there with what you're trying to do. In my position, I've gotten more comfortable with carving out like what I do, growing what I do, and found more fun. Like recently, in the last couple of years, found more. Like, not fun's not the right word, but like, I've enjoyed the work more.
Okay.
And focused on like the creativity and the work, instead of focused on the end product and making the money. And just, I've also really candidly spent a lot of time in the last couple of years learning a lot of stuff, like watching a lot of, whether I'm watching a guru or I'm watching a TED talk about the importance of self-talk or meditation or whatever it may be. It's kind of what I was saying at the beginning, which is I kind of challenge myself in the sense that, like, for the same way I mean it with entrepreneurship or starting a brand or whatever it may be, there's so much content. There's podcasts,
free
there's
content.
YouTube. Free.
Absolutely.
Like, as free as can be. And and then people are out here spending $150,000 to go to fucking colleges and shit. And then they're not realizing that's great. Do whatever you want to do with traditional education. At the same time, whether you want to make that stop or not, whatever it may be, after you graduate or you feel your education is over, I just think it's a massive mistake, because the massive amount of content. So for me, I knew this inherently, and so I was like, I got to learn about the things that make you healthier.
Right.
Like, I was on a treadmill just trying to just sell a lot of shit. And so I just wanted to get mentally healthier. So I had to watch videos. I'm still doing all that stuff, because it's like none of us really know what we're going through right now.
Right.
Like, this is completely unprecedented, both the phone and the direct connection with this overstimulation, but also the pandemic.
Yeah.
It's not, it's like we're all I don't know if, you guys are both from here, so you've experienced earthquakes before.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because the pandemic to me feels just like one long extended earthquake.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
when you're in an earthquake,
Absolutely.
my feeling when I'm in an earthquake, is like surrealness. Like, almost like the world is moving.
It's about to end,
me.
man.
Yeah.
Like, why does the world doesn't move beneath me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, my
absolutely.
building doesn't shake.
You can hear the earth shake.
Kind of feels like that during the entire pandemic. Like, the whole world is just moving, and you're just trying to hold on to
Right.
things. So for
Literally.
me, I'm always just trying to hold on to things and tether myself. And to be honest with you, I posted about stuff. I'm making a point to talk more about mental health, because in no way do I feel that any person, no matter how successful or not successful they are, they should feel comfortable talking about their struggles. But if somebody like me is pretty comfortable with it, I'd rather people can maybe get a little comfort in knowing like they're not alone with that shit.
Absolutely.
Because I don't expect
that
everybody
means a lot.
to do it. It's
that
hard.
Means a lot.
It's hard to talk about this shit. Like I know it impacts even me financially. I know that I'll lose a deal or two because people are worried about that shit.
Business-wise.
But I just don't care anymore.
Yeah. And it gets to the point where it's like your heart, goes back to the emotional attachment. Like you want to help people, going through the same things that you go through because you wouldn't want to do it by yourself, and it's hard to do, especially with like mental health, anxiety, stress, like to be able to run a business, be an entrepreneur, help other people grow, like that takes a lot of energy. And that, it's consuming, to take on that energy, to take on that responsibility and to alleviate stress, whether it's microdosing, meditation, or however it is that people alleviate stress. I think that's essential for people to know, like, not everything's going to work for everyone. So I'm not saying go out there and, microdose, but, or meditate, because some people can't meditate. Some people, it's hard to meditate for some people.
It is. I really recommend breathing exercises for anybody that struggles with meditation.
Yes.
Even like if you have an Apple Watch, that's how I taught myself breathing exercises.
That's genius.
Yeah,
I'm on it too, man. I know
like
the
I was struggling
exercises.
doing breathing exercises because you can probably tell I'm pretty wired. So like when I got with my watch, when it would like
notify you,
keep me going. You know how it pings you when you're doing them. You get used to it. It's like
it vibrates.
I think people just have to accept. Like it's a hard thing to accept, but like tomorrow you're just not gonna just feel better automatically.
Exactly.
Like you're not gonna get a promotion, or you're not gonna meet the girl, or you're not gonna all of a sudden get the concert tickets, and all of a sudden like you're just a happier person.
Exactly.
Like if you're not feeling good, it's unfortunately work.
And then also too, if you're not feeling good, that energy pushes out to other people, and it makes other people not feel good, So it's like I'm big into like vibes, energies, and auras, and meditation for me too was hard. Like it was the same thing, starting with breathing exercise and just stopping and just taking a deep breath, and then going into like shower meditation when you wake up and just think about your day and just release all your stresses from the shower and the water washing it away and stuff like that. So everyone has different forms of meditation, but I do believe that meditation is essential in life.
Is that like a thing? I'm gonna Google that after.
Different forms
shower
of
meditation.
Shower meditation.
No, real talk. I'm gonna Google that
shower
because I actually do sometimes breathing exercise in the shower.
But I
want to hear what this is. There like a thing?
Okay, so I heard about it from a friend that does meditation as well too, because I feel like it's hard to get into meditation when you have so much going on in your head. So the first thing, like when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do personally is check my phone. What do I have to do today? Errands I have to run. What my kids have to do? What are we eating today? What's going on? All of that. And then I'm like, now it's like, all right, after all of that is done, I know what I have to do, brush my teeth, then I get in the shower and I like literally just meditate. All right, my day's gonna go smooth. And I'm washing away all the stress from the water. This is just the personal thing that I do.
Say, this isn't.
I don't know if it's a thing, but
do you see how you like created this for yourself? Like
absolutely.
This is how
it's my
this
form
is
of
what
meditation.
people do.
Yes,
And this is what they do. That's why it's so weird when people talk. I'm not saying your questions, but when people they miss when they're creating like a brand or anything. Like the human element of it, like that you do these weird, it's not weird, but
rituals,
I'm saying these unique, everybody does these unique things.
We all do something.
That are like connected to them in a way. And they have, like I said, I told you, I buy my cologne from eBay because I wear Ralph Lauren Romance. And I've worn it since forever, but they don't make it anymore.
Right.
So I just buy it on eBay. But why? Because I don't want to take the time to figure out the thing, to do the thing, and I'm cool with what I got. But it's like all that same thing. It's like everybody's such a creature of habit.
Absolutely.
Creatures of habits.
And it's really like, it's really worked for me because it's like, it makes, like I have really bad anxiety, especially when I have something going on. Like let's say I have a project or something releasing, an event. Like I'm a procrastinator. Like I do things last minute, but I feel like I do my best when I do things last minute. Like if I plan things out, pressure makes me work harder for me personally.
Makes her grind,
and makes me grind. But if I do stuff out that's planned out, I feel like it's not getting done fast enough. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just not getting done fast enough. and it stresses me out, and then I get anxiety. But I do feel like for me, my shower meditation really works. Like I really feel like I wash away.
Well, nobody's gonna bother you. Like
no
in the
one's gonna
sense,
bother
like
me.
you're good,
by yourself,
which is super helpful
you're in your
when you're gonna
own
meditate.
element.
Is
like
to know.
you're naked, you don't have any type of anything on, and it's just like you're just you. You're at your core, and I just feel like when I'm in the shower, I can just literally wash out all the stress. Today's gonna be a good day, and this is how I'm gonna handle it. This is how I'm gonna conquer it, and this is what I'm gonna do. And then by the time I get out the shower, boom, my day starts. You know, I go downstairs. I
now,
handle
how would
my
you
kids.
feel if I told you you can't do that for the next 3 weeks?
Oh, she's in.
it.
She's.
If I
Shower
said you
meditation?
can't do it,
Do
like
that
you just can't do it
routine.
anymore.
I
Stop
know
it.
her.
You would get stressed.
I
Yeah.
would stress.
You would
I'd be like,
stress
okay,
out.
what am I gonna do
This
to
is your
yeah.
this is your thing. You know what I'm saying? Like
absolutely.
everybody's wired in so many ways
Absolutely.
that way.
I would be like, okay,
You know?
how would I find a way to program something to replace that, or do something to make it so.
If I'm you and I'm selling this, you have to also know that your girlfriends and their boyfriends already have a fragrance they're emotionally connected to.
Absolutely.
So now you're thinking about, well, how do I get them?
How do you break that?
Yeah, like
put it
how do I
on that
get them to be
routine?
like, yeah, but I'm gonna try this. It's different. I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
And so when you recognize the difficulty of changing people's habits,
Absolutely.
it challenges you to figure out how to do that.
Absolutely.
Instead
and I love
of
a challenge.
assuming I make this
And you're
their
gonna wear
habit
it
will just
because-
change because
absolutely.
I'm Telli.
Absolutely.
And it'll just change. That's what I'm not saying you did that. That's
Right.
what everybody does. And I'm like,
Absolutely.
why the fuck do I give a fuck that you made this thing? It doesn't matter. Like, I don't care. Like, tell me why I should care. But those times when people get my attention and I'm going like this, I just care because they made something special.
Right.
Or they're presenting
You
in a
had that
special way.
emotional connection.
They're speaking to me in a certain way. Yeah. It's all about that with everything. I mean, you're taught that as a, you kind of act like that as a kid, right? You're even, the strongest
Absolutely.
emotional connections to things that we have, like, half the way I dress nowadays is mostly shit I would have worn when I was in high school.
Right.
And that's on purpose because I'm like, shit, I'm my age. I can do whatever the fuck I want. I'll just wear what I wanted to wear in high school. So I buy vintage clothes. I wear all the stuff I couldn't buy then. I like that. But like there's certain things that I have, right? Like I have this beat up Bulls hat that I found online. And I'm like, yeah, that's basically what I wore as a kid. I feel good with that. But like, it's because it's an emotional connection to it. It's because it means something to me. And if you gave me a Pistons hat that looked identical, I wouldn't fuck with that thing. Because when I was a
Right.
kid, the Pistons were like this to me. They
It
were the bad
makes
boys.
sense. It makes sense.
You know what I mean? Like all the stuff you're super like. You guys know in the high school stuff. Like when you're growing up and in high school, if you look back and think about those things, like Hello Kitty still pop. Like people still watching the animes they watched when they grew up. Like Marvel's multi-billions because kids grew up reading comic books.
The
like
Pokemon era.
Absolutely.
All of that.
All that stuff.
All of it.
People aren't just liking Pokemon because of like how Pokemon was made.
Right.
No. It's because there's connecting. They remember their friends.
No,
and
it made me
and it brings you back.
Literally, like Cars and Coffee, which is right next door to us. It made me feel like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have kept all of my Charizards and all of my Pikachus and all of my Pokemon cards that I had 10, 15 years ago, in high school, collecting all of that stuff. And it's just crazy how everything just cycles back.
So when you looked at the card, right, you saw it in the case. Your heart started being a little faster.
Oh, what?
Because you recognized it.
What? I was like...
And it's like, it's immediately you see all these memories, like real quick in your heart.
Yeah, literally.
You're touching those as a kid.
What if?
Just by seeing
Shoulda,
that
woulda.
one card.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's what you're trying to create.
Yes,
that smell,
absolutely.
when somebody smells that at their wedding, when they see their husband for the first time at their wedding, you want them to smell him and remember that this was the thing that they did.
Absolutely.
One of the things they discovered together is a thing. Yeah.
Has its story.
That's what you're making. You're making something that's connecting people. You're not really making just like a fragrance. You're making something that can help, that changes the bond between a man and a partnership.
That's exactly what it is. The bond in a partnership. Absolutely.
But the funny thing is, you told me all that. You just didn't say it like that.
Yes, I did.
You told me because that was the actual reason you did it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And you put all these little hints in there and all these little Easter eggs in there that are different things regarding a relationship.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So the story of it is already there.
It's all together.
It's all there.
Absolutely.
It's all based. You already made it.
Story,
You just didn't know to to market it in the same
yeah.
way of why you created it. Because you're probably thinking, and I'm using you more as like everybody is probably thinking, well, yeah, but Telli can get so much exposure. Everybody will buy it. Kind of, but you need certain people to die that just can't wait to try this out. They want to be just like that couple thing, that thing. So
to bond as
cheat
a couple.
codes.
Absolutely, yes.
You're looking at the
Cheat
thing. That's
codes
a competitive
and
advantage.
Emotional connections. If we haven't learned one thing from Blake, it's
genius.
Emotional connections
and competitive advantage.
Yes,
that's
and your target audience.
So you look out, right, and you're like, so Telli, no disrespect, but there's bigger makers of fragrances than you at the moment. I don't know.
No disrespect
Chanel,
taken.
So it's like, you look at it and you go, all right, what's my competitive advantage over, I'm so bad with fragrances, like Chanel or whoever. Like, what's my, and most people be like, well, I don't have an advantage over them. Like, they're the big guys. No, you do. You just have to listen to it.
You have your personal story.
You have to find
Absolutely.
it. Like, you have to figure out how to get in there, because somebody always figures that out. Absolutely. Somebody always figures out if there's a really big clothing company. Like, any girl can go on Fashion Nova and buy anything. Absolutely. I also have friends
anywhere in the world
that have created an incredible fitness line for women and are killing it. Mm-hmm. Well, Fashion Nova was around before them. Right. So was Lululemon.
Right.
But they figured out a space. You got to carve a little space for yourself, and then you just kill it.
Absolutely. I love it.
Dig
I love
into
it.
that bitch.
So I just make up everything as I'm going along.
No,
I'm like
you know you don't,
because
he knows what he's fucking talking about.
No, he's genius. He knows
like,
exactly
I'm over here
what the fuck
taking
he's
it all in.
about.
So let's say we'll name everything that we talked about.
Yeah.
Let's say top 5 things. Starting a business, starting a brand, what you would say.
Well, I want to say more starting a brand. Like, when I say brand, business. I'm thinking about...
That's huge.
I'm thinking, because there are better people at running businesses than me, definitely. But when it comes to brand, I'm thinking about like real brand stuff, right? Whether it's McDonald's or whether it's a fragrance.
Walmart.
Like, how do you, like a brand, you know, a brand is versus a generic, right? I think you gotta always, my honest real talk is you gotta start with what you want. If let's assume somebody's doing this to like be there to leave a job, or
right? Let's say he wanted to start a weed company.
Okay.
Forget fragrance.
Don't do that. I did that. That industry is fucking hard as fuck because of the legalities. But anyways, yes. Let's say you wanted to start anything. My first question for anybody is first, what do you want to do every day? For real, that's my first question.
To not make it a job.
Because I want to know what's going to make you happy. Like, why are you doing this?
Yes, first
and
their
foremost. Answer may be like, you know, to be honest with you, I want to travel a lot. I love traveling, so I want to make a certain amount of money so I can travel. And when I work my full-time job, I can't do that. Okay, well, let's focus on your brand being that way. So we got to make sure the end of your brand, like, you're making money so you can travel, right? Because that's the goal of this. Or somebody can be like, well, I love using my hands and I want to make these bags and they're going to be a certain amount of money and blah, blah, blah. And we go, okay, do you want to make more money or do you want your bags to be more like your exact thing? You got to figure out what you want to do every day. Because it's not all the same. Not everybody wants to just make money. Like, some people want to do just design clothes. So once you figure that out, let's assume you want to, speaking generically, you want to create a clothing brand and you want to be able to make enough money, let's call it $100,000 a year, so you can make more money than you were making working at whatever place you were working, and you can work for yourself. Okay, my first piece of advice is honestly do the most boring, well, what they may think is the most boring shit ever. Look at the brands you like, the people that are doing things that you're impressed by, and go read and watch interviews and learn about
your research.
Literally,
absolutely.
If you want to go look at how this brand owner made it, just go on YouTube and learn.
Literally.
Like, learn, because what you're going to start discovering is from video after video after video, interview after interview. Most of them talk about a lot of the same things. I'm not in no disrespectful way, because of the fact that, like, to be a success, a lot of this stuff's the same. It's about work ethic. It's about showing up every day. It's about learning. Like, literally, if you're an entrepreneur and you were selling clothes 10 years ago and you're selling clothes today, you've had to change your business model. So how, if you're not learning? So that's, you have to be prepared to go to school. And then from there, I'm thinking about, is what I'm making necessary? And like, okay, it may not be necessary, but it's going to add something essentially to the conversation, right? So like everybody's wearing, easiest example, everybody's doing, like a lot of people do custom sneakers. And this guy's going to do custom sneakers. And what I would like from that person is to have something that's just adding something to the conversation a little bit. Still fits in the whole world of custom sneakers, but their look is a little different. So you can be there in the arena of everybody else, but you're bringing something a little different to it.
Your 2 cents.
So that when you do that, and then you do the best practices and learn from all these amazing, talented, incredible, strong entrepreneurs that have gone out there, women, men, everybody that's gone out there and built brands, when you learn from them and then you have this idea and you put the work in, it's a lot of this stuff is the same. Like, you got to figure out how to get the audience, keep the audience, be in touch with the audience. And the biggest issue most people have is the concept, if I build it, they will come. I don't care what it is.
It's not that easy. If it was that easy, everyone would be doing it.
If Virgil was a nobody and he made 10 custom Nike sneakers and just put them out there, nobody would have bought them.
Absolutely.
It has nothing to do with anything.
Absolutely.
You have to create something that like is on a wave. You can create a wave. Whatever way you can figure out, people just are like, wait, did Telli drop that yet? Oh wait, I gotta be there. Oh wait, like what they want, you gotta get them connected to it. Most people just build stuff, they make things, and like, well, I worked really hard on it. Like, I put a lot of time in. I don't care. I don't care if you fucking design a t-shirt, took you 7 minutes. That shit could sell millions of dollars. You've heard the stories of top hit music songs that have taken 10 minutes to write. It's just time doesn't equate to success. It's about the ideas, the time. You're always going to have to put the work ethic in, but the amount of time you put in, I don't care. Like, your brand needs to give me something I don't have already.
That attention grabber.
But yo, when they do, when those brands show me something I ain't seen before, I'm like, I fuck with this.
Yes.
I actually reach out to them though. That's what makes me different. Like, I'm a DM them. Like, I see a brand I like that's doing something wild. I'm like, yo, what you got going on? Like, what do you got going? Because like, that's
intrigued.
What separates
the
you.
intriguement.
Separate yourself.
Absolutely.
Be special.
Absolutely.
Like, why fuck you doing a brand to look like everybody else? Like, what is the point if I look at your brand and it looks identical to Supreme's last drop? Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, why do I need you around?
Right, when there's already that out there.
Give me something I can't have. Like, if I'm gonna go show up to go to a sandwich shop, it's cool to be like, oh yeah, this is your special thing. Like, if it's out there, why I need you? So like, I think people think if I put time in, I can sell. It should sell. If I work hard, it should sell.
Like that. It doesn't.
Nobody cares.
No.
Absolutely.
So I just think you gotta figure out. You gotta roll up your sleeves. At the end of the day, you guys figure out how to sell something. Like, you gotta figure out how to get people excited, how to sell something. If you can do that, you can do it forever. Kanye West, you go look at that dude 15 years ago compared to today. He looks nothing the same. His sound is nothing the same. Absolutely. He sells none of the same shit. He makes money in a completely different way.
Absolutely.
But what he had was your attention.
The whole time.
Then he'd sell you anything. He'd make you anything.
Very true.
Absolutely.
Very true.
That is so true. So, okay. So we talked about brand development. We talked about brands. We talked about creating businesses, marketing. Mental illness. Relationships. You said you were single. Are you ready to mingle? Are you staying single? Are you good? Are you looking for a wife? What are we doing in the relationship department?
We're sitting on fucking Hollywood Boulevard out there, and the
Next
stars
turn.
and shit. Yo, I'm gonna tell you, this place is wild.
Oh,
for
wild.
dating out here.
Oh,
and
nuts.
yo, people,
nuts.
It's don't look, and obviously, it's not like I live a conventional life, so that's also not really consistent with a lot of stuff. But yeah, it's a weird place out here from that standpoint. I'm very fortunate that I've had an opportunity to date some great women out here and all that, but I don't know.
You like staying low key.
I don't know. I got
single,
no idea.
but not looking for a girl in LA.
I'm looking for a girl in LA, sure, but like,
it's wild.
I got no idea.
Y'all need to simmer down, pretty much.
I legit got no idea who. Like, who? What am I even looking for?
You're open.
Put it this way: as much as I could talk about brand, is about as little I can talk about relationships. In the sense, like, that's just I'm like,
Right.
You have no idea
Right,
where.
absolutely.
that's just not really my thing. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Everybody
Like,
has a thing. Everybody has a thing.
And so, like,
I'm the same way, man.
I'm a little like for me, I've always just been so passionate when I worked on. I struggled to be able to find like ways to keep that passion in all these other things.
Makes sense. Okay,
Well,
so
I guess.
for everyone that comes on the show,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
we ask.
Sure, I'm ready.
We ask this or that question, so people
Good,
can
let's
get to
do
know
this.
you outside of your career, outside of your brand.
And I have to just say this or that,
Yeah.
right?
yes.
Can't say
okay,
both,
these are
can't
the
make
rules
up
because
your
people
own.
cheat.
I know.
Like he said.
we're going to really try to cheat a lot. Okay, I'm ready.
No cheat codes
So
on this
only
one.
two rules.
No cheats.
No
All right,
cheat
this or
code.
that. All right, I'm ready for you.
Okay, they start off easy and they're a little bit
Oh,
tougher.
fuck.
All right.
Yeah.
This or that. You can't pick both, and you
Can't pick
can't
both.
make up your own answer.
I want to go first.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I
Go.
get real. I like stuff like this. I'm ready for you.
Well, are yours hard? Because mine are a little easier.
Go first, then.
All right. All right. Netflix or Hulu?
We have to go Netflix.
Okay.
It's a tough
Night
one.
or morning?
Night.
Rich and famous or rich and unknown?
I have to be rich and famous. For what I do, you'd have to be famous. It's easier for me to. I know I'm going to answer why. It's like I want to say it's a desire, but like it's a cheat code. If the more I'm out there, the more opportunity I can do what I love. So
absolutely.
it's going to have to be rich
And the
and
more
famous.
people
Which I
connect
don't
to
really
you.
want to be rich and famous though, like that. No.
Right. No, it makes sense.
So I'm gonna have to go
It
with the
makes
second one. How famous?
How
That's the
famous?
real.
that's-
I don't
that's
want to
the
walk
thing.
out of a place and like ever have
That's
people
famous.
like
Yeah.
swarm.
Paparazzi.
Like Michael
Never
Jackson
that.
famous.
I don't really need.
You don't
fame
have
like
a
that.
life that
famous.
way.
I'll take
you
a
know?
paparazzi. Like if I could get famous enough, like 4 times a year. Like, oh, yo, I know that dude. Yeah, that's good. I'm chilling. No, so not famous though, like that.
Passenger or driver?
Oh, I have to drive. Yeah, driver.
Art museum or history museum?
I'm gonna go history on this, which is weird. I think I'm
I
gonna
was
go
like, you
history.
like to learn, so I would think you would say history.
I like both. Yeah, I gotta go to a lot more museums.
But you're artistic too, so I was like, that was the
Yeah,
main
it's a hard one. Depends the art exhibit, I would think, but history right off the jump.
Train or airplane?
Plane gets me there faster.
Owe money or owe a favor?
I guess money because it's a little more defined of what you owe. A
Absolutely.
favor sounds a little ambiguous to me.
Yeah, you can do anything.
What you
on
looking
that.
for me to do? You know
Right,
what I'm saying? Like,
What's the
what's
favor?
good? Like, what time are you calling me at night? What body needs to be buried? I'm not ready for all that shit, so I'm gonna just pay you
What
back,
body
fam.
needs to- I'm just
good.
paying you back, fam.
Yeah, I'm good.
Be embarrassed or be afraid?
Oh man, I don't like either. I'd rather probably be embarrassed.
Damn.
No, I'd rather be afraid. I'm gonna challenge that. I'll go after it. I'll try to go through it. Well, yeah, I don't even know.
Cooking or being cooked for?
Oh, being cooked for.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just can't cook.
Play or stand-up show?
Stand up.
Stand up.
Love stand up.
Attend a party or host a party?
Host, because I'm in control.
And get
I know
that
that's
So
bag.
I get
Right.
to go move any which way. What?
Kind of.
I've
What
never
is
seen
this?
a one-person
What's good there?
car.
What's good
You
with
see
that?
a car.
I really wish we had that on
one-person
camera.
car.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Lose sleep or skip a meal?
Skip a meal. Definitely.
Hang out with little kids or old folks? He's like, what kind
What
of
are
fucking
you guys
question?
doing? I'm just by
real.
myself most of the
What do you want to
time.
hang out with little kids for?
I'm not answering that out
Grown man
loud.
hanging around with little kids.
But no, there's some cool ass little kids.
You could do a
I would say-
mentorship
you
or
know-
like, a motivational speaking where kids look up to you and stuff
I
like
would
that.
definitely be more of a
You
little
can
kid
help
thing.
older people. It doesn't have to be anything nuts about that question.
All right, so
It went
older
all the way
people-
left over there.
Older people, I definitely would love to learn from, but you can just always learn from kids. So
You
it's
can
like
learn from both.
you can, but kids, it's just like they're so pure in
Pure.
that way. It's
Yes,
like
innocent.
fascinating. Yeah,
Yes.
but yeah, okay, I'm
Purest
not
of
really
all
sure.
souls. Ambition or comfort?
Ambition.
Gotta love me for my ambition. Pattern or plain?
Pattern.
Reality shows or documentaries?
Documentaries.
Salad or sandwich?
Salad.
Red wine or white wine?
I don't really drink like that at all much. I'll just go with white. It's a little easier.
That's good.
Yeah, white.
City or countryside?
City.
All right, Zach, go ahead.
I mean, I'm where I want to be, so it's got to be a city. I live like blocks from here.
Oh, even better. That's
it took me like
easy.
6 minutes to get here.
I'm gonna make mine quick. Chantel done
Good.
took
Now,
all the
this dude's
goddamn questions.
Dude's gonna be
He's
hitting
a
me with
little
like,
tougher.
He's
I'm
been
just
sitting here. I've been waiting for him to just get me something crazy.
She done took about 25 questions on the this or that, so I'm gonna just give him some slight.
Give me a couple.
Slight.
I'm ready for it.
Smartest person in the world or richest person in the world?
Ooh,
Which would I rather be?
Yeah.
that's a good one, Zach.
I'd rather be richest only because like I wouldn't want to be smarter than everybody. It would probably be a lot.
It's a lot of stress.
And boring,
It's like
I feel
stress.
like.
Yeah,
like when you're too
yo,
smart for your own good.
I hate
it's,
hanging
like,
around
kinda
dumb
boring.
people. Like real talk, I probably shouldn't say that out loud. 'Cause, like, but if you're offended, then why? Then then you think you're dumb.
Yeah.
Like so
And
nobody
you know
can be
what?
offended.
And you know what? Everyone's personality is different. So I feel like people, need to learn to adapt with different people's personality because nobody's the same. Not one person.
Facts.
So that's kind of like where it's like, I personally think that certain things are common sense that other people don't think is common sense. You know what I'm saying? And it bothers me to my core for people to be like, how do you not think the same way I think? Like, this is something that I'm still learning. Like, it's like,
I think what is it though? Is it like where the fucking utensils are on the plate,
like
or is it like
dumb shit? Like, for example, okay, let me not say that. For me, for example, I love being clean. Like, I love cleanliness. I love things to be in order. I don't know if that helps me personally with like my anxiety or my stress, but it just makes me feel better when things are like clean and in order. So when things are left out and people know that are in my house that it's left out, it's like, why do you not want it to be clean? Like, wouldn't you want something to be clean?
I got a question for you on that.
Go ahead.
How long you been clean for?
Forever. For Zach.
Since your entire life?
I mean, I feel like since my mom has been wiping my ass.
So check this out.
I've been clean.
For these other people, it's a challenge for them to try to figure out how to be clean because naturally it's not what they do.
Exactly.
So it's like, so my brother and I, a couple years apart, and we're a lot alike in a lot of ways, sure. But like, there are certain things we just do things differently and our brains are set up that way. So it's like, I understand what you're saying because some of it's discipline and other it's like, it's also easy for you.
Yeah.
To be
and
clean.
I enjoy it.
Right.
It's like a therapy for me to clean.
Yeah, I'm the same way with a lot of stuff. But I also like bury too much shit in my drawers. Like I hide shit because it looks bad out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like even the drawers. Like you'll ask him, like I have organizer boxes, cubbies, a place for everything. All my stuff is in a line, face forward. Like it's OCD.
Everything's organized in the house except for the thoughts in her head.
That part. There you go.
All right, my next question.
In a nutshell.
My next question. Let me get back on board with this. Got here. Time machine or magic wand?
Time machine. 24/7.
24/7 all day. And then I got. Where was my next one? It was see the future or change the past.
Ooh.
See the future.
See the future.
Why don't I want to know my future? But you mean like going to the future to just check it out?
No, just see what you got going on the next few years.
Oh, I don't want to see that.
Or you could go back and
I'll go back and change some shit. Sure.
Okay.
Definitely
All right.
that. Definitely.
And then success or happiness.
Ooh, that's tough. That's a tough
That's
choice.
my last one for you.
Because they're supposed to be hand in hand. Let me let you answer it because I'm over here wanting to answer it.
No, it's definitely happiness.
Happiness.
Yeah. I mean, do I think? Yeah, it's definitely happiness.
Businessman happiness that you go.
It has to be because like, what are we doing this for?
Right.
Just
like, what's the point of it? Like, what's the point of
you want to be
any
successful and be happy. You want happiness to come from your success as well too. So it's like
some people get lost in it. That's why that's
but
exactly
some people don't do things that they make.
I was talking about before. Yeah, lost.
Yeah.
And some people don't do things that make them happy. Some people are like this rich. They're successful, but they're not happy. So that.
I mean, I'm gonna be real. I don't really envy those people though. Like, I don't envy people that have like dumb money and then just are stressed 24/7 because 110%. Like all that feels is like a albatross, like an anchor around you. Like that sounds awful.
Absolutely.
Like it sounds just like more problems because you got all this money. So like I think that you know, unfortunately, when we grow up and we go to school and do all that stuff, you learn about math and you learn about science and all that shit. Instead of just learning about like showing up today and just feeling good, like figuring out those sort of things. And I think because we've never really learned that stuff, then not everybody understands like that's still like the purpose, right? In a way, like just make sure if you're here to like enjoy the ride.
Absolutely.
If you show up, like if you're showing up to a movie, right? You show up to a fucking Disney, you're like, I'm coming here to have fun. That's where we're at, right?
That's what it's for.
24/7. You're in La La Land, or you're in America or Earth or wherever, but you're in the movie, so have some fun with it.
If you're not showing up for fun, what you here for?
Have fun with your life, y'all, and that's where we're gonna end. So please tell everybody where they could find you, what all you got going on before we end this, and whatever you want to say.
Sure. You can find me on my Instagram. It's probably the easiest way. Just my first and last name, but we'll figure that out. It's Blake Ricciardi. But
Ricciardi, guys.
Ricciardi. If you like type like Blake R.I. or something, I come up. I don't know. Yeah. Once I get more famous, like the famous you were telling me I got to get like where 20 paparazzis are coming out every time I leave, it'd be way easier to find me. I tried to get at Blake on Instagram, but I think somebody who worked at Instagram has that. So anyways, I do a lot of stuff. Like I have brands coming out. I have new brands coming out. I have a show coming out on network where I'm doing a thing called Blake and Friends, which is like projects where like we'll put out collaborations and cool things and sell that through this live shopping network app. I have an incredible NFT project I'm really excited about.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's fucking wild. That was all came out of my brain, and I'm working with my brother on that and a lot of other people. And I do a lot of I work with my brother. I did this big WWE project recently that was hella fun.
Big fan of WWE.
With Roman. Yeah, it was with Roman.
That's another emotional.
Roman,
that's another emotional connectional thing.
It's amazing,
too.
Man. Yeah, great people.
WWE emotional connection.
Big fan.
You know what's amazing though? Just real quick. So I went and did a whole thing with my brother. We shot with Montez Ford, with Bianca Belair, with Roman Reigns, some of the biggest WWE superstars in the world. That's dope. And it's such a great example because I had such a rich experience. They're such talented people, such hardworking people, but they were such good people, and they were
that's the best part. Too.
And that's what makes it fun, right?
Mm-hmm. Working with good.
Yeah,
people.
I work with the biggest WWE superstar working on a project. That's cool, but the fact that him and I and my brother and we all worked on this thing for that day, that experience is something I take away because it was rich in that way. So I just want to try to live my life in that way that hopefully when people get an opportunity to work with me, they walk away with that same experience. But yeah, I'm a creative, so I'm always working on projects, but I understand how to position brands. So I have fun with it. And I'm out here in LA, trying to find that girlfriend you were asking about.
Yes.
It's booming.
You know what I mean?
Girlfriend in LA, marketing brands.
Yeah.
Just a guru in everything that he does and puts his hands on, and it works. And he knows what he's talking about, y'all. So make sure y'all check out Blake Ricciardi on all things Instagram.
Yeah, just search me. It's easy.
Instagram. You
I'm
Instagram,
easy to find.
Twitter.
Instagram, Twitter.
All that good stuff. And make sure you check out Popular Demand.
Yeah, do
stores.
that too. Check out whatever I'm working on. It's cool. If you like it, it's cool. Buy some shit. If you don't, that's cool too.
And that is it for Telli Talks.